The guy was riding the train and thoughtfully looked out the window. After a while the train stopped and he got out of it. The guy's name was Khufu. A girl got off the other car. Khufu helped her get off the train and helped carry her luggage. The girl thanked him and they said goodbye. After going through the whole city of Khufu, I reached the estate. 3 maids met him and invited him into the house. They said that Khufu will work here for 3 years and most likely the lady is already waiting for him. Khufu looked up and saw a girl on the balcony. Her name was Melida. Melida noticed him and fell from the balcony in surprise. Khufu reacted quickly and managed to catch her. Melida was very grateful for saving her life. Kufa was arranged as a bodyguard and teacher for Melida. Melida was late for the academy. Khufu said that now he would always be by her side. Soon they went to the academy. There was a training session. One of the classmates offered Melida sparring. The fight began and in a few minutes Melida was already lying on the ground. These girls had a special mana that gave extraordinary strength, but as we noticed Melida did not use it and therefore quickly lost. After the fight, that classmate started making fun of her. Melida couldn't stand it and ran away. Khufu went into his room. He remembered a conversation with the head of the family who hired him to teach Melida to use mana, or if it doesn't work out, then kill her. Khufu realized that if Melida cannot use the power of mana, then she is not the biological daughter of her father, which means she is from a simple family. But only aristocrats could use this mana, so she had to be killed. Khufu opened the suitcase, took everything he needed and came to Melida's room to kill her. When he entered the room, he did not find her there. At this time, Melida was stumbling away from an incomprehensible creature. Khufu found her. Melida with her wooden sword tried to repel the 3 creatures but was defeated. Khufu, after much thought, decided to help Melida and in a short period of time destroyed all the creatures. Khufu saw how Melida worries about everything and how she is humiliated. He wanted to see how the whole world recognizes this girl, so he decided to help her. He said that he would be her support and would be with her constantly. Melida cried from this and was very happy. Khufu said he could try to teach her how to use mana, but if it didn't work out, Melida might die. Melida agreed to this. Khufu gave her a special drug to drink and began checking her body for possible physical abnormalities. After school, a classmate came up to Melida again and started pestering her. She took her book and left. Melida had mana, but Khufu forbade her to use it in everyday life, so Melida could not fight back against her classmate. Melida and Khufu left the academy and headed home. Melida complained that she could not use this power. Khufu explained that this power had just awakened and so far it was impossible to use it. 2 girls were eavesdropping on them and Khufu noticed it. They came out of their hiding place and began to get acquainted. One girl's name was Ume. The other girl introduced herself as Rosa. She was Yum's personal teacher. Melida was very surprised because the greenhouse rose was very popular. She comes from a simple family, but she was still able to awaken strength in herself. She became the youngest member of the Legion of the Cross and received an award from the Queen. Rosa tried to talk to Khufu, but he said that he did not need this communication and it would distract him. Rosa was very offended and said that Melida would win at the next tournament. After these words, she turned around and ran away. After a while, the competition began. Melida was very afraid and told Khufu about her fears. He calmed her down and said that everything would be fine. Her father also came there and she became even more worried. Melida was sitting in the corridor and worried. Her classmates came up to her and started laughing at her and saying that she would not succeed. Khufu told them to shut their mouths and leave. Melida was very angry, so when the fight began, she immediately won her opponent with 1 blow. Everyone was very surprised. The fight continued. Melida fought off all the attacks of her classmate. She realized that she could lose and therefore gathered all her forces and directed them against Melida. She approached Melida and began to mock her. Melida got very angry at this and continued the fight. But suddenly the mana began to run out and because of this, the strength too. With the last of her strength, Melida won this fight. She immediately ran to Khufu and he happily picked her up and congratulated her. The father came by without emotion and told her not to think about herself a lot and that she needed to beat someone from another school. That losing classmate ran up to Melida and returned the book. She also apologized and ran away. Khufu was sitting in the garden and drinking coffee. Melida ran up to him and asked him to go to the festival with her. Melida was very shy, but offered Khufu to dance around the campfire after the festival. After some thought, Khufu agreed. Melida had a friend. Her name was Melissa. She was also going to the festival and wanted to wear a dress like everyone else, but the family did not allow it. They bought her a very expensive dress with diamonds. She came and everyone was delighted except her. Unable to stand it, Melissa ran away and began to cry. She didn't want to stand out and wanted to look like everyone else. Melida saw her and ran after her to calm her down. When she went to Melissa, the light suddenly turned off and a lot of people in long clothes appeared around them. Melida woke up in another building. The guy who kidnapped her was sitting next to her. He was a lycanthrope, a creature that possessed a power like mana. Melissa also woke up and was very scared when she saw unusual creatures. She started hitting the dinosaur skeleton and it fell, killing 2 creatures. Melida and Melissa looked at the map and found an emergency exit. Melida decided to make a magic sword out of an ordinary sword. She needed to wrap her magic clothes around the sword and it would also become magical. But they did not have time. They were found by those terrible creatures. Melida fell, but managed to make the sword magical and began to fight with them. After killing both creatures, they ran to the exit. But there was that guy and a lot of scary creatures standing near the exit. He decided to kill them and had already started doing it when suddenly the door to the room flew out and Khufu and a greenhouse Rose appeared from there. Khufu, along with Rose, began to fight against all creatures. They killed everyone except that guy. Khufu went looking for him and found him. That guy took out some slime and injected liquid into it. A second later, a huge artificial lycanthrope appeared in front of Khufu. Khufu was able to do the impossible. He was able to defeat the big lycanthrope. Khufu and Melida came to the festival where Khufu invited her to dance. During the dance, Melida asked how many Khufu would be next to her. Khufu replied that for a very long time. Melida also said that she wants to be with Khufu forever and when she grows up she will become his girlfriend. The tournament started at the academy. It will last 7 days. Everyone was gathered in the hall to be divided into groups. It remains to introduce all the cadets of the academy. It turned out that Melida and Melissa became them. Everyone was shocked, even the teacher himself. The battle will take place between groups of 3 students who will be led by cadets. It remains to choose allies in their groups. After Melida and Melissa chose their allies, everyone went outside. Melida was very excited, but Khufu comforted her and said that he would always be there. At night, her friend Melissa came to Melida and said that she would lose to her on purpose since they are friends. And if Melida wins, then her father will recognize her. There are 3 days left before the main match. All the girls trained to win this fight. Melida woke up on her bed. Khufu brought her warm milk and asked why she and Melissa did not communicate. Melida said that Melissa offered to give in to her so that Melida would win this fight. Khufu advised to talk to Melissa. The day of duels has come. The group that collects the most medals will win. The fight has begun. After a while, Melida and Melissa met face to face and a fight started. Melissa said that she perceived Melida as an older sister and always wanted to be second. Melissa never wanted to be stronger than Melida. Melida gathered all her strength and won. They hugged and made up. According to the results of the tournament, the girl won. Her name was Kira. Everyone was very happy. All the girls gathered in a big tent to hold a party. Everyone drank juice and started talking about different topics. One of the girls decided to tell a scary story. A long time ago, a husband and wife moved to one city to start a new life. They were often attacked by locals. The husband could not find a job and therefore became more and more upset every day. And after a while he began to treat his wife harshly. But the wife endured it all. A husband who clearly lost his mind killed his wife with a knife and cut out her heart. The husband, when he realized what he had done, ran out of the house. He held her heart in his hands. He was running through the city and stumbled, dropping his heart. The heart fell on the road and started talking to the man. Then the husband realized how much his wife loved him. He took his heart in his hands, went to the lake and drowned himself. All the girls were very scared of this story. But the story wasn't over yet. A husband with a heart went to heaven, but the body of a wife without a heart full of malice rose to its feet and came to life. In the village, she was nicknamed the Grey Witch. They say she wanders every night and attacks young girls and cuts out hearts. Suddenly, the candles went out all over the room and it became dark. A girl dressed in long clothes appeared in front of the girls. It turned out that this is the Grey Witch that was just told about. The girls ran away from her through the water canal. The girls were walking and talking. Someone believed that it was a witch and someone did not. They walked for a very long time and again all the candles went out and that woman appeared in front of them. Melida decided to kill her, but she did not succeed. They began to run away and the witch flew after them. The girls ran out of the sewer and met Kufa. They started asking him to help. But suddenly Khufu turned on the flashlight and they saw that blood was flowing from his mouth. He said that his heart had been taken away. It turned out that it was a big joke. Khufu and Rosa decided to play them. It turns out that Rose was the witch, and ketchup was pouring out of Khufu's mouth, not blood. The girls were angry at Khufu, but Khufu said it was a lesson for them since they threw a party without asking him. Khufu went into Melida's room and woke her up. He also said that the trip will take place soon. Khufu and Melida were walking through the city with a suitcase. A man passed by Khufu and imperceptibly handed him some liquid and said something dose for one. Melida did not notice this and continued to talk cheerfully. After a while, Rose ran up to Kuf and, after a short thought, asked him to take her as his wife. Khufu did not understand this and took her aside. There Rosa said that her father forcibly wants to marry her off, but she does not want to. Rosa asked Kufa to pretend to be her fiancé for a while so that her father would leave her alone. Khufu thought a little and agreed. Melida was very angry. After a while, they met with their father. The father said that he would bring the wedding ceremony very soon. Rosa was shocked and said that she did not want to get married. She had a fiancé and pointed her finger at Kufa. Khufu confirmed it. Everyone got on the train and went on the road. After a while they stopped near the village. The area around the village was diverse with various vegetation. Suddenly a guy came running from the village and said that one resident was very ill. Rosa's father came to the place and saw a lot of people. He decided to kill the person who got sick because the disease was very serious. Khufu, at Melida's request, did everything, for example, put stockings on her feet. Khufu saw that Melida was offended at him because he was pretending to be Rosa's fiancé, so he invited her to go on a date. Melida was very happy. They went down to the cave where it was very beautiful. The cave was very mysterious because it had zero gravity and it was possible to fly. After the walk, Khufu put Melida to bed. Melida asked him if they could go on a date again. Khufu agreed. There was another tragedy in the village. Someone in the church killed several children. All the students from the academy were shocked. Rosa's father said that Khufu is the most important suspect in this murder because no one has seen him since morning. While everyone was walking around the city, a murder happened again. Melida heard about it and ran to the scene. When she came running, she saw her friend Melissa and Rosa lying on the floor in blood. Melissa was still breathing, but Rosa had already died. Melida was in shock. All suspicions were again placed on Kufa. Rosa's father demanded to find him. Melida was in the room where Melissa was lying, when suddenly there was a knock on the room and they demanded to open it. It turned out that the father and the rest of the villagers found out that Khufu is Melida's teacher, which means that she knows where he is. Melida jumped out of the window and ran away from home. Melida remembered that when they first arrived, Rosa's father strictly forbade going to one place, citing the fact that there are other laws working in that place and it is very dangerous there. It seemed to Melida that in this place there is an answer to the question of who actually killed all these people. Melida went to this cave with fire in her hand. Skeletons and a lot of cobwebs hung around her. She reached some kind of library. In some books she found information about the genome change of people. Suddenly a voice started talking to her. He asked her who she was. Melida took the sword in her hands and introduced herself, and also asked this unknown voice to introduce herself. The voice laughed at her and said that Melida would be a useful model for experiments. Suddenly Rose came up to Melida, but she didn't look like herself. She had fangs and big claws on her hands. Her eyes were burning with different colors. She wanted blood and asked Melida to give it to her. And suddenly Melida also thought that it was her teacher Khufu. One eye was very similar. Rose had almost killed Melida, but suddenly Khufu appeared and began to protect Melida. He started asking Rose to remember who she really is, but nothing happened and Rose ran away. Melida was very scared of Khufu because he has changed a lot. He has grown long white hair. Melida decided to approach him, but Khufu did not allow it. Khufu abruptly approached her and knocked her to the ground. He said that now he would block all the memories associated with him and they would return to the time when they met for the first time. Melida said she didn't want that. She said that she would always be on Khufu's side and would believe him. Khufu was very surprised by this. She hugged him and comforted him. Khufu explained to her that he is half a Lancotrope and in fact is an enemy for her family. The next day was the wedding ceremony of Rosa and her other groom, who was chosen by her father. Suddenly Melida appeared and asked to stop the ceremony. Melida told Rosa that she loves Khufu more than she does and that she kissed Khufu. Rose, when she heard that Melida was kissing Khufu, got very angry and started fighting with her. Suddenly a Lancotrope appeared among the church. It turns out that this Lancotrope forced Rosa to kill everyone. Rose ran after him to destroy him, but Lancotrope was stronger and took her by the neck. Suddenly, Khufu came running and started fighting with him. After a while, the academy started lessons again. Melida began to study better, answer in lessons and even win duels. Khufu came to his father and he made a sensational statement. He said that this year he is taking his daughter out of the academy and dismissing Khufu. All because he had heard that an outsider had made his way to the academy's territory and Melida could be in danger. At that moment, a girl ran into their room with an envelope. The father quickly read the letter and it turned out that the girls were in danger. At that time, Melida and Melissa were in the library and they were attacked by a big ghost. Together they were able to win. Melissa examined her sword and it turned out that it was badly damaged after one ghost. Suddenly, many more of the same ghosts appeared in front of them. They surrounded the girls and began to approach. Suddenly there was a magical blizzard and all the ghosts disappeared. Turns out they were saved by two girls. This is the end of this unusual anime. Write your opinion in the comments.